Today, we are talking about something very crucial that every woman should know. When to do a hormone profile test. That's right. A lot of times, you don't know when to do a hormone profile test. And you go on to do that test, and you are told, oh, this test, you did it at the wrong time. So therefore, it does not correlate with what we want to ascertain. Hormone profile test is playing a key role because hormones in itself control a lot of things in our system as women, ranging from our skin health, our energy levels, our mood, our gut health, our weight, our reproduction. This is where menstrual cycle comes in, our libido, muscle mass. So it's a lot. I've come to realize that as women, we can't do without hormones. So in this video, you're going to understand when exactly you should do hormone profile test and why is it important. We have various hormones in the system, and those various hormones have specific times when the test should be conducted so that you can ascertain what you are actually looking out for. When your hormones are out of balance, it comes with a lot of symptoms. It could start to affect your skin, it could start to affect your energy, it could start to affect your ability to get pregnant, to stay pregnant, to carry the baby to full term, and to have a healthy baby. It can even affect your libido, that is your sexual urge. It can affect your sleep. It can even affect your weight. It can affect how you think. So it's a whole lot. So today we have various types of hormones. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to stick with hormones that specifically impact women's health. So I'm going to group it under, we have the reproductive hormones, we have the thyroid hormones, and we have the cortisol hormone. And I'm going to say the various times it is recommended that you do this test. Number one, we're going to look at our fertility hormones. Our fertility hormones, they are those hormones that help you lay good eggs. Yes, have good follicles. Yes, have that egg ruptured. Have that egg viable enough that is fertilized by a healthy sperm and have it sustain implantation. And again, it equally impacts your menstrual cycle, how you see your menstrual cycle. Do you always spot? Do you have cis period? Are you always having irregular cycle? Are you having prolonged period? Any period that lasts more than 7 days and sometimes it comes out with heavy clots is under irregular periods, prolonged periods, or any period that is shorter than 3 days and sometimes is even spotting, brownish. The color is not as it should, red, cherry red, proper red color. There is a problem. All right. So these fertility hormones, we will be focusing on the hormone profile tests. It indicates the various tests that you're supposed to do when it comes to your fertility hormones. So we have our fertility hormones that includes estrogen and progesterone, luteinizing hormone, our follicle stimulating hormone. If you have not done this test before and you are that woman that is experiencing some of these symptoms I mentioned, sister, you're not doing yourself any good. It's important you do it. Stop doing blind treatment. Stop doing blind healing. You want to know where you're moving from. Are you moving from 0.1 to 0.2 or you're moving from 2 points down? You want to know because in hormonal imbalance is actually a situation whereby there's too much or too little of a particular hormone. So you want to make sure you are clear about what you are handling. All right. We have estrogen and luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone that comes and are very stable at the first phase of our menstrual cycle as women. So doing those tests at that time is highly recommended. Your LH, your FSH, your estrogen, the first phase of your menstrual cycle, which sometimes could be at day 3 of your menstrual cycle, is highly recommended because you're going to get exactly what the state of that hormone at that particular point. Then when you are through with that, we are looking at your progesterone. So doing progesterone at the second phase of your menstrual cycle, referred to as the luteal phase, which most times fall under day 21, is highly recommended because at that point in time, that hormone is stable and you're going to get the true value. Let me say something here. So many times, many women don't know that the hormones, how your hormones were working when you were in your 20s, as a teenager, when you were 30s, 40s, 50s, they're not the same. So interpreting these values should actually agree with your age too. A premenopausal woman or a menopausal woman values should be different from somebody that is still in her reproductive age or even a teenager. So all these things are put into consideration when you want to do a test and how to interpret it. So this fertility hormone done and settled. Moving over to your thyroid hormones. Your thyroid hormones really doesn't matter the time that you do it, but most times it's recommended that you do it in the morning hours. It has been discovered that the thyroid stimulating hormone is more stable in the morning hours. So going in the morning between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. is highly recommended. Moving over to cortisol, which is the stress hormone. We can't rule out cortisol hormone when your hormones are raging, because the reason why the progesterone, the estrogen, the LH, the prolactin, your insulin could be out of balance is because the cortisol is out of balance. So we can't underestimate it. You can do cortisol test in the morning because cortisol peaks in the morning. That is when the value you get there could be very, very reliable. Not when you have done your day-to-day activities, you're all sweating, you will now run in and say you want to do a cortisol test. No. Once you wake up in the morning, eat your meal, go to the clinic and let them take a blood sample. By the way, all these tests we are going to be doing just requires a blood sample collection. Nothing more, nothing less. So cortisol reflects the state of your adrenals because sometimes that fatigue you're dealing with is as a result of adrenal fatigue. The cortisol production has really weakened the adrenals sitting on your kidneys. So it could be causing you that fatigue, not necessarily that you have shortage of blood or that you have insulin resistance or that you have type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes. It could be because the cortisol is out of balance. So finally is the testosterone test. Yes, as a woman, you can do testosterone test. Although we know that testosterone is the male typical sex hormone, but as a woman, you equally have it too because it plays a key role too in your libido, in your muscle mass, and in your overall well-being, including your fertility. So sometimes you could get that test done, especially when you're having irregular cycle. The cystic acne is raging, you are having facial hair, building muscles like a man, like you notice that you're even having coarseness of voice. Your body shape is tilting towards that of a man. It could be your testosterone raging. So it's important you equally check it. Let me know in the comment section if you've done any of these tests, if you are currently dealing with some of these symptoms I mentioned. And again, this is not a detailed video of the symptoms of hormonal imbalance. I've made a video listing the 12 symptoms of hormonal imbalance. I'm going to link it up here so you can watch it and look out for your health. How do I prepare myself for the hormone profile test? You don't need any special preparation, like whether you should fast, whether you should avoid certain meals. No, it's not like fasting lipid profile or even glucose test. All I just stated is timing of when you should go. Is there any special thing that the healthcare providers are going to be requiring for you? No special thing. But most times, when you want to do your fertility hormone profile test and you have cyst period, they will usually recommend that you get your period flowing, that the period comes first before you can continue to do the test. Because, especially when you want to do progesterone test, the progesterone test is equally a way of ascertaining whether successful ovulation has happened and whether it's high enough to sustain pregnancy. He wish above all things that you and I prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospereth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that might need it. Stay tuned for more health tips and more educational videos like this. I'm always routing for you.